supposed to vacate till our backs burn. We're supposed to laugh till our hearts stop. And we are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. Today is February 12th. February 12th, 2023. Good Super Bowl. Good Super Bowl for the people. But we are going ahead and starting our week off with our weekly outlook, our market outlook for the week, going ahead and checking out what we got coming up. So let me go ahead and first and foremost, of course, always going to start with my macro analysis, right? For those of y'all tapping in from YouTube, not familiar, my name is Maverick, Live Like Mav on Instagram if you want to follow and tap in with me. But other than that, welcome to the Traders Guild weekly outlook, right? Where we go ahead and check out what news, what impact, what moves, right? What type of setups are we looking for this week? What type of movement? And of course, kind of got to give the market some time to start to play out. But we kind of just do our top of the week speculation based off of what we can see so far. Okay. And, first thing I always like to start off with, of course, is looking at investing.com so that you can get an idea for some of the news releases this week. Not necessarily that I per se am the most well-versed in fundamentals, analysis, economics, different things and like that. But at the end of the day, understanding when these news releases will happen will either tell us when to trade or when not to trade, right? Really when to trade or when not to trade, depending on your skill level or your comfort level. But essentially, we've got a big week. We've got a big week, right? So tomorrow, Monday, tomorrow afternoon, going into 6:50 p.m., we've got a JPY GDP dropping. That's going to give us the GDP for the fourth quarter for Japan. So that's probably going to affect maybe some of the JPY pairs and stuff like that. But mostly, I do like to trade NAS100, SPX, some of the stock indexes. So I'm going to look out for a lot more of the USD news. And then whenever I see, news releases like JPY, GBP, AUD, Euro, right? Like the Forex pairs, then I'll typically pay attention around those times to potential Forex moves. And that's kind of what I've been rocking with for the top of this year so far. But I've really been looking to stay focused on the stock indexes. Tuesday, we've got average earnings dropping for GBP, so that's red folder news. But the most important part of the week is that we're going to have US dollar inflation rates dropping on Tuesday morning. New York session, right? And we're expecting to see a lower inflation rate. We're expecting to see inflation, on the decrease because of this fight against inflation. I think it's absolute BS. I think we're going to continue to see inflation go up. Just a matter of how long they're going to continue to mess with these numbers and have everybody thinking that for some reason the inflation rate's going down, right? So that's kind of what I think. Even when it's funny, even when you look at the month to month is anticipated to come out higher. So that's something to take into account, I guess. But more so for me, and let me switch it for the server too. But more so for me, what I'm seeing is us going ahead and seeing that interest rate continue to go up, right? That's what I'm looking to see. Wednesday, we've got GBP CPI dropping, which is also their inflation rate will be dropping on Wednesday as well. And then we're going to be having retail sales on Wednesday for the US dollar, AUD news, Euro news on Wednesday as well. Thursday, we're going to have USD news, initial jobless claims, Philly Fed manufacturing, because Philly is one of the biggest economic hubs in the U.S. And then Friday, we got retail sales for GBP. So we got a full schedule this week, right? We got news every single day of the week, except for really Monday. But we got U.S. dollar news strong every single one of our tradings this week. I definitely expect a lot of volatility and a lot of manipulation, right? A lot of people that decide they want to trade because, you feel me, that's the type of time we got going on, right? But let's go ahead and switch back over. So let's go ahead and switch over to trading view. Let's go ahead and switch over to trading view. Trading view, bang. All right, cool. So looking at trade. Yeah, so now looking at Trader View, we gonna go ahead and start off looking at the dollar. Right, we're gonna start off looking at the dollar, and we're gonna start off on the weekly just so I can get an idea for how last week went ahead and closed out. And if we actually take a look at if we actually go ahead and take a look at the forum from last week, we can take a look at what I was looking at last week at the top of the week on the dollar, how we saw the dollar coming in. And I think, yeah, this was last week, right? This was the 5th, which was, yep, that was last Sunday. So last Sunday we was looking at dollar, and we were seeing her. Okay, cool. So we was looking to see the dollar trade back down into this fair value gap, before going ahead and taking, some of these highs up here over there at like 103.5. And we can see we just went ahead and smacked that thing. We hit it earlier last week as well. Last week's candle closed out being a bullish week, right? So we had a bullish week on the dollar last week, 2 bullish weeks in a row. And again, like I said last Sunday, we haven't seen that in a while. We haven't seen 2 bullish weeks in a row for the dollar since the beginning of the fourth quarter, right? When this whole drop started. So we're starting to see some liquidity really flow into the market. And that's what this was, right? This was that impulse move that went ahead and came in, brought us up into this kind of fair value gap, I guess you could say, right? Because this was that last up candle before the market fell off. And so just looking at this order block from the top of that guy, to over here, we can see that fair value gap, we traded to that. So what I would, of course, love to pay attention to this week is the same kind of area that we were talking about last week. And just seeing us come back below this equilibrium, and attack this daily buy side liquidity. We formed some daily buy side liquidity right here, but we also went ahead and formed some daily sell side, right? This is what I like to call them manufacturing liquidity, right? Once, and I guess let me go ahead and put it like this. And remember, the markets are fractal, so what I'm about to show happens on every time frame, right? It's not just the weekly and the daily, but given it's happening on the weekly and the daily, it's important, right? So over here, we see the market is overall in an uptrend on this time frame, right? Overall market moving up. We've had a retracement, and we've seen them take out lows here, seen them take out lows here. And looking at a year-to-year basis, a year from today was February 12th. And me looking at a year ago, pretty much today, from this low up to this high, you can see we're kind of we traded down into a discount, right? That's kind of what we traded into, right? 62%, 70% below a 60, 70% discount on where price was when it was up here, right? So all last year, this is the price somebody was used to buying 12 months ago. And over that year, it reached here. And right now we're at over a 70% discount of where the market was a year ago today, which was down here at these lows that we just drew from. So this area altogether is where I want to see buyers' interest in an uptrend, of course, right? Now, the next thing that I would want to pay attention to is an area of liquidity, right? An area where there's going to be stop losses. And given we took these lows clean and kept dropping, these lows clean and kept dropping, these lows clean and kept dropping, where's the lows within that area, right? This discount level is here, and then you got this low over here from this move, right? And so under this low are stop losses, right? Because y'all are in the vibes, anybody who took buys or whatever, their stop losses were at break even right here, or they had stop losses underneath here, whatever the case is. And you can see the market just clean, didn't close below like here, right, where they broke down and closed below that area, right? They just clean came into that, okay, and then traded away. Okay, that's what I like to call taking liquidity, right? And so that gave the market an excuse, or that was what brought the volume into the market. So the people who wanted to be buyers, the market makers who got lots of money they need to bring into the market, they need a lot of money, a lot of people to be buying, to be selling to them, right? A lot of people to have stop losses looking to get out of trades, right? And so this is where those orders would be located so that they can go ahead and buy up the people looking to get out of positions who are now losing or whatever the case is from them hitting right here. And so we see the market push up immediately because those buyers come into the market very aggressively. Okay. So when I see a move like this, now that we've went over that, right? And once I see them take a low like this and move away very quickly, I want to go to a lower time frame and I want to see them do something. I want to see them do what I call manufacture liquidity, which means that just like I just said on another time frame, on the higher time frame, we saw that there was a low and the market dipped below that low and then it took off, right? So just last week we just saw them come and do what? They just created a new low. That's what they just did. They just created a new low, right? And so that's what I call manufacturing, right? They just manufactured liquidity here because there's people who took buys here, what we like to call the early buyers, right? They took buys here. Their stop losses are at break even or their stop losses are down here below. And so that's kind of what, I want to pay it. I'm kind of paying attention to, right? Yes, we have it up here as well. We got some, they kind of gave it to us on both sides. But it's because overall I'm bullish that I'm on the side moving higher, right? And so I want to see I want to see a specific target get taken, right? And for me, it's these equal. Well, we can say this, of course, daily buy side right here. I want to see that get taken, but I also want to see these equal highs over here, right? So they're relatively equal, right? I want to see those get taken. I want to see all of these get taken, right? Especially because I just showed you on a higher time frame what it is that we got going on. You can see this was that dip into the liquidity, boom, came above, took these highs, right? Grab liquidity here, and then they traded back lower. Yeah, I definitely want to see them continue higher. But same thing now, right? Just like we saw on a higher time frame, boom. I'm gonna look at this move. Okay, and I'm gonna take this box, I'm gonna delete it. All right, we already know we're in a discount area on a higher time frame. I'm gonna take this move and I'm gonna highlight it on a lower time frame now, right? And this is the discount of this move from this low all the way up to this high. This is the discount right here. And just for memory's sake, this is the equilibrium. So we know anywhere under that equilibrium is good for buyers to come into the market, right? Anywhere under that blue line, which is just so happens to be right underneath what our liquidity here. Now, if I go to the daily time frame, I have a weird feeling that that blue box is just so happens to be right at last week's opening gap, right? Or, well, no, Thursday to Friday. What was that? I think that was unemployment claims or NFP, one of those, right? But we can literally see that it's right there at that gap, which is an area of interest for me. That is a real fair value gap, right? And that's the real fair value gap right there. Okay, so that area is still of interest to me before they're gonna just go and take off, right? Continuing to the upside. Okay, so gonna give the dollar some time to get situated for the week and let me know what she got going on. But this is that zone that I'm looking for. Last week we kind of came down to it, but I see that what they did was go ahead and, like I said, manufacture that liquidity for us to now go ahead and trade towards. Let me look at our opening price for the week. Let's go down to a lower time frame. Yeah, I like this gap right here. Like that gap right there. We're gonna pay attention to that price action there. Yeah, so the weekly open was right here. And been pretty much in an uptrend since we gave this low last Thursday, right? Since we gave that low last Thursday, been climbing higher. So as of right now, we just took liquidity here from Tuesday, but this high here is what looks like that next, the closest target right now. All right, so even if we want to attack down here, it would be more of a boom, hit that first, and then do everything I just said in the opposite direction, right? So see them maybe climb in, take this buy side liquidity, and then see how they respond, right? But what I would want to see is something like this, and then see them take the liquidity that they just formed, boom, and then right fall off in whatever capacity, whether that's quickly, slowly, whatever the case is. That's what I would like to see this week, right? Or at least that's what I want to see right now, right? Maybe that's Monday, maybe that's Tuesday, but that's what I'd like to see us start off with. Okay, I'm not gonna say yeah we're gonna just fall to Narnia the whole week, but you guys see this, the key levels, you see the key zones. And it's just about being adaptable and having those specific zones that I'm looking for. So on the dollar, on this chart, this is the TVC chart, 103.96 is the buy side liquidity that I want to see get get taken so that we can go ahead and trade lower. So yeah, that's what we want to see on the dollar. I'm gonna be traveling this week, so I'll have plenty of time to be patient, right? I'll have plenty of time to be patient. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I would love to see us take the low and then trade higher, because overall, I want to see the dollar trade higher overall. But it's just a matter of how do we get there, right? You can be sure about your entry, you can be sure about your exit, but one thing you can't be sure about is how it's going to get there. So that's the dollar. And when I look at the NASDAQ for this week, starting off on the daily, we had a bearish week on NASDAQ last week. First bearish week on NASDAQ for the year, actually. That was the first bearish week for the year on NASDAQ. And we left these just interesting double tops. I just can't believe it on a weekly time frame. I mean, some would say they took the liquidity up there, but I don't know, man. Don't look like we took much to me, but it's okay. It's okay. We can say they did, I guess. Right? We could say they kind of came up above the high here, but it just looks so relatively close to me. It just looks so relatively close. So definitely, again, paying attention. But as of where we at right now on the NASDAQ, they did go ahead and give us these lows here, February 7th, February 6th. We did see them go ahead and give those lows, take the lows from there. Just last week, we saw them take that, and then we saw them shoot up, and we saw them drop down into that. So wouldn't be surprised, like I was just describing. But my thing is the way that they closed below them. It wasn't just like a here on Thursday. If it would have just ended with that and they closed, they just wicked it and started trading higher, then okay, cool. But they came with the next candle and they closed even lower, right? But where did they come down to? They came down to our order block here from the end of January, right? And this was that first week of January, and that's exactly where they came down to, straight to that order block, bang, right to the top of that order block, and they hit that perfectly. So now that we're trading into that or away from that, I want to pay attention to how we react here going into Monday. And I will be on New York session. I mean, it's pretty much the only session I'm gonna be able to trade for real this week, thoroughly. New York session. I have to trade London session the other days of the week, but yeah, definitely would love to see us, go ahead and take out this double top, just real convenient double top. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And on this move from the first week of February, to now. So pretty much so far in February, we're at the discount area of that. So we are at a key zone for NASDAQ to get some responses. So if I see NASDAQ start to give me higher highs and higher low formations there, and at the same time I see the dollar go ahead and, taking buy side liquidity, giving me a new lower low, starting to form up, then I can get an idea that we may get some buys from NASDAQ here. But don't get it twisted though. Long term, I am looking for the bearish moves on NASDAQ. So if she's not setting up as if she's going to aim for the buy side liquidity here, then I know what to do. But right now, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It looks real convenient the way that it's setting up right now. But the thing I love about the stock indexes is that they're so volatile. Things can change very quickly. So I just love to pay attention, right? Love to pay attention to what they got going on. So yeah, going into this week, that's what I want to pay attention to on NAS. And let me see where we opened up at. Weekly open was right here, and the low of last week ended up being right here. Ended up being the low of last week. So, like I said, we gonna do some paying attention, won't we? We gonna do some paying attention. Let me put my alert right there at that low. 1266. We're going to put that right there. Like I said, the idea is to see the opportunity when we come down into this and where the dollar is at. But like I said, where NASDAQ is right now, this is a good level for buyers to want to come into the market. Am I saying that we're going to just go create new higher highs on the daily time frame? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the area that we trade into in the current uptrend, because even though I want to see NASDAQ turn around, like even when I look at the daily and I see NASDAQ is lower low, lower high, lower low, what is this? This is lower high, right? Woohoo. All right. Even though I see that, everybody in the world can see this downtrend. Like everybody in the world can see this. And well, anybody who's looking at the higher time frame, right? Anybody that's looking at the higher time frame can see this. They can see the area of quote unquote resistance that we just hit. It looks sweet, right? It looks sweet. So I just being aware of that zone that we have above and the order block that we have over here above that zone as well. And with that being said, being aware of the fact that since January 1st, all year long, we've been in an uptrend. Okay, does that mean I believe that we're just going to go in an uptrend all year? No, I actually believe that, when a candle first opens up. So if I was looking at a yearly candle right now and the yearly candle just opened, straight started off bullish, or the weekly candle started off bullish, then I'm honestly believing that it's going to start off that direction to give the wick, and then it's going to go the other direction. So I could definitely see this just being they going this way real quick before they go the other way, but it doesn't change the fact that we have been in a bullish market for 4 or 5 weeks now. So it's a lot of bullish momentum, bullish momentum, bullish momentum. So yes, I do believe we are coming into we came into a good area to where the sellers, right, selling market makers, they could come into the market, but this just looks real convenient. It still looks like there's some good liquidity up here. If they really want to go ahead and sell off and take these lows, I wouldn't see anything hurting them from taking those highs. But we'll see what's going on. Like I said, we're at that order block. And we're starting to go ahead and accumulate, right? We're going into accumulation. So let me see if I can give an example. So right here, right? We saw the market trade lower, accumulate, and then what? Boom, straight down, took all these orders, right? All those orders, and then what? Took off. Just absolutely, just a crazy move to the upside. Get what I'm saying? And so now we're having that accumulation again, right? And we're right in an area of discount where buyers might want to get introduced into the market, right? And different things of that nature. So that's what I'm looking to see on NASDAQ this week. This to start the week off is just potentially seeing a little bit of pullback on this beginning move that's happening. But trust me, the dollar is daddy is what they say, right? Dollar is daddy. So you got to pay attention to how the dollar goes ahead and opens us up on Monday and Tuesday. So yeah, that's what we got on NASDAQ so far, and that's as low as I'm gonna go because that's as much as data and information that I have right now. But yeah, paying that 12,900 area still looks sweet as far as I'm concerned on NASDAQ. That 12,900 still looks sweet, but as of right now, the next draw on the next sell side liquidity that I would have my eyes on, next draw of liquidity, as Michael would say, would be down here at that. At that low from last week, if I can get a cursor on it. Bang, right? That's the current number that I have an eye on. 12,200 I think is the next place NASDAQ is going to want to deliver to, and then from there we can kind of see how price action looks going into tomorrow. So that's NASDAQ. Goldilocks, you can see I'm kind of already in alignment with the zone on gold. This trade, it did go into profit, and then I just closed it out once. I don't even think I was in it over there. I think I was in it over here. Yeah, I think I entered right here. Was it? Yeah, I think I entered here. First thing in the morning, what was that, 6 a.m.? Yeah, 1860. Yup. 1860, it went up to 1867, but I was looking for her to come up here, and I think I wasn't able to pay attention, and then it came back to break even. So we are in the similar situation on gold, right? If I go to the weekly on gold, right? If I go to the weekly on gold, since we came down here and swept this liquidity, we swept lows from COVID. We swept the COVID lows, right? And all the lows of the last year, a couple years in between, right? We took this. Ever since they took that and accumulated and then took off, they've been on a mission, right? And once they took this high and closed above, and then they took this high and closed above, that only leaves this high. I mean, I'm gonna just be real. Like this is still a target right here. I just don't think that they're done. I mean, it's a far way to come to just turn around now, but what do I know? I just work here. I just work on the charts, man. So I'm being aware. But that is a lot of bearish momentum that came into the market, similar to the dollar. I mean, when's the last time we had I guess you could say such a bearish week like that on gold? This wasn't even equivalent to that. So the last time was probably here again, where beginning of October. So we can see that they are starting to price in, right? We can see that those market makers and the big money, smart money, is starting to come into the market aggressively and manipulate the markets aggressively. But for what cause, right? So yeah, I definitely can, would start looking for those sell opportunities, maybe being on the side of sellers. So even if you don't take, a zone from here, but what I'm just saying is that we still have been in this bullish momentum, right? We still have been in this bullish momentum. They came and pushed us down very conveniently from this, zone. And here goes that signature as well, where we had a high, right? We had a high manufactured, had them drop down, and then they took the high and sell off. So like I said, this is an interesting zone though, because from the top of the year, I guess was like right here to where we are now. This is kind of like that discount area. This is that order block before they fell off. And just looking at this area that we fell into, you can see what happened last week. And the reason that I'm looking at this opportunity is because what did they do? Right? They came up, they came down, and they did what? They gave a low. They manufactured liquidity, right? Manufactured liquidity. And this right here, I don't know if anybody knows patterns, but that's a flag pattern to most people, right? To most people, the market is gonna, let's see if there's a button for it. That would have been crazy if there was a button for it, right? Nah, there was no button for it. Right, but most people, when they want to see a flag pattern, they're looking to see market goes down, and then it creates a flag, right? And then the market continues lower, right? And so the fake out on that is essentially the market coming down, coming back up, trading down as if they're going to break out of this thing, and then we see them price in, take the lows, and we see them price in. And that's what it looks like to me, right? So even if this was maybe real and they're not going to go take the debate daily buy side liquidity, but I'm saying it on this call, 1998 still, 2000 still looks sweet to me. That's all I'm saying. 2000 still looks sweet to me. But with that, I will say I do understand that we had the bearishness come in and what's going on with the dollar. The dollar looks ready to go ahead and take to the upside again. So at the very least, I'm just saying, looking to see them give a pullback, right? Maybe up to 1925, and then coming into this zone or this area, then I may, then I could pay attention to going ahead and get to those, getting to paying attention to sell opportunities. But as of right now, I mean, buy low, sell high. This is kind of, this is a low that looks promising, and the way they set it up looks promising. You feel me? So yeah, we came down into it. We saw them respect that level, and then they took it, and then they jumped out, and then we came back down. Boom. And what could happen, right, is this could be that low where we manufactured liquidity, right? Where now they just created a low to get ran out of this area, and this would now become. And also you can see I have this rectangle here from last week, which is a fair value gap from this candle that took off. And then you can see the order block before it. And this is the gap from the order block that was created and the one after, right? So just looking at that zone right there, when I see it, that's one area. But boom, we can look at this low right here as manufactured like liquidity, right? Right, liquidity that was placed there, and then maybe see them see how they respond once we trade below that, and then to see an acceleration from there, and paying attention to the buy side liquidity here on the hourly time frame, 1872. It's a good 250 pips or so, right? 280. So we could just pay attention to that, right? We could just keep our eyes open, pay attention to that. We'll put an eye right there. All right, put an eye right there. When I go down to the 15 double tops or anything, nah, they chilling. They ain't done nothing crazy just yet. So yeah, that's what we got going on gold and NASDAQ. But I think that might be the only two that I want to really look at today. Y'all got any questions or anything y'all been looking at? Anybody in here? My boy BT, what you been looking at this week? Ghost mode. What you been looking at this week? But yeah, that's what I think I got eyes on. NASDAQ, gold, paying attention to silver to kind of give me a better understanding on gold, and silver just makes it look it's even more interesting. But yeah, other than that, I did still have eyes on the zone for AUD/USD that I was looking at last week, which if I look in the forum, where was that? We were looking to see AU come up to 0.70304, and they actually came super close last week. It's crazy. go down to the 4-hour. All right, we wanted it here. 70304. But they weren't looking to trade all the way down there. Let's let the dog be a waiting music real quick. Good waiting music. Let's see. Daily buy side liquidity here from Friday, August 12th. You was thirsty, huh? Yeah, I feel it. Daily buy side liquidity from August 12th that was taken here, and we traded away from it. And it was a wick above it too, right? It was a wick above, and then we traded lower. We came here last week where I told you, and they, as I would love to say, right? They manufactured liquidity, right? They gave a high right here, and that's the perfect high to get ran, ain't it? Perfect high to get ran. So I'm gonna keep my eyes open and pay attention to us still coming into that zone. I still feel like that is a good zone for us to trade into. This was that last buy candle before the market fell off. These were the last two buy candles before the market fell off up there. On the daily, what we got from it? On the daily, here's that last buy candle before the sell off. And so, yeah, that right there, that's the zone that we were looking for last week, and still can say that we have our eyes open to. So yeah, would love to see them trade up into that again this week, and then catch that opportunity. So that's kind of what I have eyes on. We're still, as I called last week, we hunting the setup, and the setup is still this 0.70480 sell-off on AU, 0.704. I think that's all we need, 0.7048, yes, 0.7048. So pretty much 0.7050, I guess. But that's a big difference on AU. So I'll say the zone starts at 0.7036, you feel me? But that's what I got for us. That's what I'm gonna be looking at. I'm gonna drop these charts in the forum. And of course, the recording will be on YouTube and on the Traders Guild website. So definitely look forward to seeing you guys on London session in the trading floor. And I appreciate you.